don't know a damn thing about black people. We're human. We like our kids to go to good schools. We love our kids. We never go in no neighborhoods and take people out. Don't do it.
You might know about the oldest and most infamous American hate group, the KKK, who resorted to terror following their white supremacist agenda. Later on, it became awful to watch them carry out homicides apathetically and reconcile their actions with their conscience. The history of the KKK terrorism has witnessed the most callous killers, completely devoid of compassion or penitence. Here are a few KK members reacting to life sentences: Travis McMichael, Greg McMichael, and William Roddy Bryan. Meet the 36-year-old white supremacist Travis McMichael, who along with his 66-year-old father, Greg McMichael, and their neighbor William Roddy Bryan, has been convicted of murdering 25-year-old Ahmaud Arbery. The three men were accused of all federal charges against them, including hate crimes, attempted kidnapping, and for using a handgun to commit the crime. Father and son Greg and Travis McMichael went on a chase in their pickup truck after seeing a 25-year-old Ahmaud Arbery running in their neighborhood in the Georgia port city of Brunswick. Their neighbor William Roddy Bryan decided to join in on the pursuit while he recorded with his cell phone for about 5 minutes. The three defendants chased Mr. Arbery relentlessly through the neighborhood and tried to box him in with their trucks. During the chase, Mr. Arbery was running with his bare hands. Ultimately, Travis McMichael shot Mr. Arbery in his chest. During the trial, it was unmasked that the litigants had firmly upheld racist philosophy that led them to make presumptions and judgments about Mr. Arbery, which they would not have figured out if he had been white. Travis McMichael was sentenced to a life imprisonment without any chance of getting parole, plus an additional 30 years. His father, Greg McMichael, was sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole, plus 27 years. Their neighbor, William Bryan, was penalized to life imprisonment with the prospect of parole after 30 years, with an additional 30 years. However, during the trial, Gregory McMichael acknowledged Arbery's family, who were in court, by saying, "The loss you've endured is beyond description. There are no words for it. I'm sure that my words mean little to you, but I wanted to assure you I never wanted any of this to happen. There was no malice in my heart or my son's heart that day." Russell Orlando Courtier. This is Mr. Russell Orlando Courtier, who is in the Multnomah County Courthouse for his indictment, as he has been prosecuted for racial maleficence in driving into and killing an African American teenager, Larnell Bruce Jr. He was charged with murder, second-degree intimidation, hit-and-run driving, and failure to perform duties as a driver. Courtier is a member of a gang called European Kindred, a white supremacist prison gang based primarily in the Oregon correction system. On the day of the incident, Russell Courtier was wearing a European Kindred cap with the initials of the hate group and its emblem prominently showcased on the front when he encountered Larnell Bruce Jr. at the convenience store. According to official reports, Courtier and Bruce were arguing in the parking lot of a 7-Eleven convenience store in Gresham, Oregon, just outside of Portland. For ambiguous reasons, Courtier and Bruce got into a fistfight with witnesses, stating that Bruce had superiority in the fight. And that became clear after Bruce slammed Courtier into a store window, breaking it. Courtier then pulled an aerosol can from the Jeep he had parked nearby, with Bruce pulling out his machete. According to witness accounts, though, it appeared that Courtier didn't use the aerosol can, and Bruce didn't use the machete as well. Deciding to be the bigger man, Bruce walked away while Courtier got into the Jeep and followed him, with both men going their separate ways. Initially, Courtier and his then-girlfriend Colleen Hunt were in a Jeep Wrangler driven by Courtier when he was encouraged by Hunt to chase and vehemently strike Bruce with the SUV. Bruce later died of those injuries at a nearby hospital. The trial prosecutor called Courtier violent and unapologetic for his white supremacist views. His then-girlfriend, Colleen Hunt, had pleaded guilty to first-degree manslaughter during the Courtier's trial. She agreed to accept a 10-year sentence after admitting to aiding and abetting Courtier and causing Larnell Bruce Jr.'s death by allowing him to use her Jeep Wrangler SUV. Courtier did not speak during the sentencing because his lawyers advised him against doing so. The judge's sentencing decision nailed an emotional hearing as Bruce's biological mother, father, and stepmother reacted surprisingly. Courtier's eyes eyes turned red, and he began to tear up as he listened to their words. The judge penalized him to life in prison with the chance of parole after 28 years, in addition to the 4-year term, bringing his total prison time before possible parole to 32 years. Kori. You'll be thinking, why are these crimes limited to white men? Sometimes it can be inverted with the hate crime negotiated by a black individual on a white individual. Here is a 39-year-old Kori in Frenzo County Superior Court, who was incarcerated for his rebellious shooting delirium in Frenzo, resulting in the deaths of white men. The gunman, Kori Muhammad, is a self-proclaimed black supremacist, and according to him, he went on his shooting spree because of his hatred towards white people, particularly white men. Before engaging in the shooting spree, he changed his appearance by cutting his hair and traveling around central Frenzo. Kori told himself he would not go down for one murder and would take out as many white men as possible. Hours later, Kori fired off 17 shots in total, shooting and killing 3 men, and later shot at a vehicle with passengers inside. When he made his first court appearance for the murder of all 4 of his victims, he shouted strange sentences on different occasions. Witness reported that Kori shouted obscenities as he fired. As a result of these weird statements and abnormal behavior, criminal proceedings were terminated, and the judge was ordered to appoint a psychiatrist for a thorough psychological evaluation of Kori. In the courtroom, Kori was acting up, saying off-the-wall things and proudly admitting that he intended to kill white men, just like the coronavirus is killing them. He also shouted out, "Let black people go," with reparations during the sentencing. Kori was seen to be full of laughter and giggles. Kori was sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. Payton Gendron. Welcome to Buffalo City Court to meet the 19-year-old gunman Payton Gendron, who has been charged with targeting and killing 10 black people and impairing 3 others at Buffalo, New York grocery store. Gendron described himself in his 180-page manifesto as an ethnic nationalist and a supporter of white supremacy, motivated to commit acts of political violence. The shooting has been described as domestic terrorism and is being probed as a hate offense motivated by anti-black racism and white supremacy, just like how the KKK operates. In the afternoon of the tragic day, Gendron arrived at the Top supermarket on Jefferson Avenue in Buffalo, New York. In a primarily black neighborhood he had targeted, he was armed with a Bushmaster XM15 AR-15 style rifle. He was wearing full body armor, a military style helmet, and a head-mounted camera through which he live-streamed the entire shooting on an online platform. Gendron fired at 4 people in the parking lot, killing 3, and he then got into the store to shoot 8 more people, killing 6. As per the reports from a law enforcement source, he screamed racial slurs during the incident. Many people and customers hid in the store's break room and barricaded the door with a heavy desk. A few minutes later, after the shooting started, Gendron shifted to the front of the building where officers could arrest him. The 19-year-old tried to apologize for his crimes, but Judge Susan Egan wasted no time and handed down his sentence, though his reaction was somewhat remorseful. According to a prosecutor, the only known time Gendron has expressed sincere remorse for his action was when he apologized to Braden right after shooting him. However, Gendron offered a brief apology into the courtroom, saying he was very sorry for all the pain he caused. "For stealing the lives of your loved ones, I did a terrible thing that day. I shot people because they were black." What did you feel by seeing a lack of remorse in their reactions? Do you expect a flicker of humanity somewhere within them? Please let us know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching, and please stay tuned for more thought-provoking content. Bye for now.